Welcome, welcome. I am 3 minutes late, so I hope you guys can forgive me. Hello, everyone. I see your comments coming in. Hello. I'm going to put hello in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me, and then we're going to get right into it. I know I'm going live a little earlier today, but I have a few things I'm working on and putting together because I see everybody is interested in some of the things I've been posting. So I'm going to put some things together for everyone to hopefully you guys find value. Okay, perfect, perfect. I see you guys hitting. Okay, so okay, perfect. I'm clear. Okay, so before I get into what's going on with like markets and um, a lot of the trends and stuff that we see going on and CPI numbers and all that, I want to address the options and stuff that I've been posting because I see that you guys had a really significant interest in the profits and stuff and the percentages that I've gained via the options. So I wanted to start with like an intro to options and kind of so you guys can kind of get an idea of like what they're for, some functions, and we'll go from there. So when it comes down to options, so you can an option is literally that it gives you an option. So you have the option to purchase shares. You can use it for about three different ways that we're going to go over. The contract in itself is roughly for 100 shares. So you can either redeem it, exercise the option for those actual shares, or you can flip the contract for the spread and collect money that way without ever having to purchase the actual shares. So the number one reason, in my opinion, people go out and they buy options and stuff is for speculation purposes, which is to generate income. That's why you guys saw like the screenshots and stuff I posted where I was having like 600% returns and stuff like that. That is technically what you would call speculation investing via options. It's a very cheap way to get in because you don't necessarily have to put up the entire value of the shares. So the contract necessarily gives you control over 100 shares, but you're not paying for 100 shares. So if I wanted to control 100 shares, let's say it's worth $1, so the total value of the actual shares is $100. I may only have to bid, 25 cents or 10 cents per actual share, and have control of that contract. And then as the value of that contract goes up, technically I can either use my right to buy those shares, let's say it increases or doubles. I still have the option to buy those shares at that contracted price, or I can sell it, flip the contract for that value of the contract that increased. So the second reason people buy options is to hedge. So if you have a large position and you are saying, okay, you actually own the stock and you say, hey, it's going to go up, you can take the call option and place the opposite of that, which is puts, and say, okay, well, if it goes down, I want to kind of make money this way so that I'm not necessarily losing my shirt on an increase in the option. So if the price is, let's say the price is going down and you want to exit your position because it was just a swing for you, you're not long on it, but you had your options, your put options to kind of hedge you. You're gonna exercise those put options, collect that spread, and use that income to exit that position so that you're not getting killed, and you can pretty much just get out either still making money or simply not losing money. So that's a very great example of hedging. And of course, the third one is a form of stock lending, which is different from necessarily shorts, which is like a put would be the equivalent of that and via options, different from a short, but it's still a form of short of stock lending because you can, if you own the actual shares, you can technically let your broker use them and they'll use them for, in addition to shorts, but they'll also use them for things like options as well. But brokers have stocks and they will do this regardless of whether or not you have your share lending on because it's an extra revenue stream for them, as we've discussed many times before. So that'll be pretty much like the three main reasons as to why you would have an option, their functions, and what they do for you as an investor. So let's look at these comments here. You reached 40,000 subs. Yeah, I did. Thank you. You want Doge at 3 cents. Doge will hit 12 cents soon. Okay, so let's talk about the macro CPIs and stuff, right? So we got the CPI numbers. We're at 8.5%, which was pretty much right at expectation. And a lot of the questions were, are we going to be off to the races now? We see that the market was green today, which was expected. We saw that it potentially priced in some of the bad news if the Fed were to miss expectations again. We saw that the market's kind of priced in like that fear yesterday, but today we had mostly a green day, just based off of the Fed's, pretty much just based off the CPI numbers coming in at expectation. So I like to look at this in two parts, because when we start talking about evidence of a reversal, I like to look at the CPI numbers. Yes, that is certainly a window into how well the economy is doing, but also I like to look at trends as far as in the actual price action. Because when you start saying that, okay, well, we're in a reversal and, we're off to the moon again and stuff like that, that's why I gave like those numbers out saying that, okay, well, I like to see Doge above 8 cents. Really, the 12 cent mark is really the reversal number, but I like to see Doge break that resistance and go to around 8 cents. Bitcoin is 28,000. And what those indicators do, especially in the crypto market, is that's going to allow me to safely assume that institutions and the big money is entering back into the market. Because retail can jump in there and say, oh, look, positive CPI, I'm going to take positions and stuff like that. And we can in fact have green days. But if the overall sentiment of the market and the whales and the institutions and stuff like that, if they're still a little fearful, that does not mean that they can't continue selling. So the reason I said that, we have to kind of couple the evidence of reversal with CPI and price action. It's kind of going to give you that safety net to say, okay, well, we know that institutions and big money has entered back into the market. So that would be phase 2 of evidence of reversal. And of course, we can have further evidence at the next CPI meeting, which is still before the next Fed meeting, which is next month. And the good thing is we're not going to have an emergency rate hike, so we can kind of have a really solid idea, because we're not getting an additional basis point hike or something this month. So we can actually get a solid idea with this break between Fed meetings to see the actual trend of the inflation. So I really think that if we couple price action along with the CPI numbers that we get next month, we'll have pretty solid evidence, convincing evidence, in my opinion, of the actual direction of the economy. So that's what I was talking about earlier today, if you see my shorts. Let's see, perfect storm, how high can Doge go? Give me, I need like a range as far as that. It's like general this year. Give me like a range on that. Let's say we dump it. I want Doge like 3 cents. Yeah, I said that a while ago. People got mad at me when I said I wanted Doge at a penny. Yeah, man, I'm trying to make Forbes list. You say that unless institutions plug the market, then we won't pump Doge. But wasn't GameStop done by individuals? Also, what if Doge went and capped like Bitcoin? Just a question, because you are awesome. So if Doge was capped like Bitcoin, yeah, we would see appreciation a lot faster. And was GameStop done by individuals? GameStop was squeezed by individuals, but as far as for the price action and stuff is going into the market, technically, yes, that's institutions as well. Because when you squeeze a stock, or let's say you squeeze an asset, you pretty much, there is no more shares available, and you have to cover that position. So basically what happens is when the institutions come in to try and cover that position, they buy up all the remaining shares, and that puts a lot of buying pressure on there, and then that price shoots up dramatically. Because even when before you start removing buy buttons and stuff like that, and the price of a share is, I don't know, it's squeezing, let's say $800, most retailers not buying those shares at $800. So that's the institutions, buying all the shares that's coming onto the market to cover that position so that they can get out of it. So retail was responsible for the squeeze, but as far as for like that liquidity and stuff like that that came into the market, yes, that was still institutional money, absolutely. David is the new Doge father. I wonder what Barry would do as a crypto retail investor. That's a great question. I'm not sure what he would do. Matter of fact, I can switch over here and we can look at the charts. Let's see. Do you see Doge going down to 0.5 this year? Thanks. Before we got I would have said it was possible if the Feds kept missing, but we may actually have priced in like the floor if we continue. If we start getting these reversal numbers and CPI is great next month, then 5 may be out of the question, because technically speaking, the chart said that 6 cent will hold. And I know we did get briefly like those flash crashes below it, but 6 cent as far as what the chart said and what we were talking about even 6 months ago, 6 cent has pretty much been pretty good to us. So without a major reversal, like in the way the economy and the macros are looking, I'd say it would be pretty difficult to go that low. We can take a look here at the short tier though. Thank you, sir. No problem. How fast do you think those will go up when the rocket goes up, like how the SNL pump was? And I'll have to gauge like the momentum and stuff around it. And even so, that was mostly hype. And that's how technically you get these major sell-offs and stuff like that. Because if I did see a similar pattern, I would know that there are a lot of traders in there and that we're going to see pretty much a similar reaction to what happened with SNL, where we would see a pretty big spike up and then an immediate sell-off. So if we are not like trending upward, like I'd say maybe even like that month, and then all of a sudden, like the day before, 2 days before, something like that, we get this huge rally. Those people are not there for a long time. They're there for a good time. So I wouldn't count that necessarily as sustainable value. As long as they've been confirmed. Not that I know of. Do you think those will go back to 73? I do. I think that there is a great opportunity, especially not without utility though, but I do think that as a resolution with utility, and my biggest catalyst for that will obviously be the Twitter acquisition. I think it will be relatively easy if we have Doge being a major form of payment on one of the largest platforms on earth. I think it'll be relatively easy for Doge to appreciate, because once we start having these mass amounts of coins off of exchanges and into people's personal wallets and stuff like that, never returning to exchanges and stuff like that, that's going to put a strain on the overall supply, and we'll start seeing that appreciation in value. Let's see on Kraken. Let's see what's the difference between on-chain staking and off-chain staking. I don't see anything in TOS. Yeah, I've got that question before. I have not looked at their platform. Before I speak on it, I'll do some more due diligence on that. And I'll address this probably on Twitter, but I'll put it in my notes because I have not done enough research on that platform. I'm going to put that in my notes. And I'll take a look at that, and I'll probably respond to that on Twitter, if not in the community section on YouTube. So I think Elon's getting ready to buy Twitter. He's selling Tesla stock. Remember what happened to Doge with that announcement? Yes, yeah, so I remember I saw a few catalysts for that. I did. Hello. What if Doge starts to get burned? You mean like burning supply? Well, theoretically, if the capital remain and then we have less coins, then we would appreciate it. I mean, all-time high. How high can it go? Like the next 4 years or so? Do you think we'll touch 5 cents again? 5 cents again without a major breakdown in the macros is unlikely. How high it will go in the next 4 years, that ultimately depends on utility. I think that that's going to be the biggest case for, just usage and the coin actually appreciating. I do believe we're going to have a consolidation in crypto before then, exchange wise and coins wise. So as long as we have utility and that integration, hopefully with Twitter, we will be absolutely fine. And I think it will be with that kind of strain. Even with, right now, I think we have, what was it? Let's like 135 billion, something like that. The next 4 years, so maybe like 150 billion. If we're looking at it actually being a method of exchange, the internet currency of the world, then those numbers aren't that big. And I still think my video would apply when I was talking about we actually don't have enough coins if it's going to be a major currency. So I think that we'll see appreciation with those factors, even well over $1 and maybe even multiple dollars. I think it wouldn't even be difficult because there's technically, to be an internet currency, Dogecoin at these current prices, that certainly wouldn't be sustainable. And with that pull off of the markets here, we probably actually even run out of coins. So I think that with that framework and utility, we see a great appreciation for Doge. So do you think the Ethereum update will actually happen? It's supposed to. I haven't seen anything contrary, so I'll have to say it's still on. She will flip BTC soon. Interesting. I'll wait for that. Regarding EMC, to quote The Big Short, I'm Jack to the tits. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen my video, a lot of times, not my video, my tweet, and people were asking, okay, what's going on in the market and stuff like that. I made a tweet maybe like an hour or so ago, and I said that if you want an idea of what's going on this weekend, if you have the time, watch 2 movies, The Big Short and Margin Call. And that will give you a lot of idea. I'll say a great idea of what's going on. Because I'm not going to say a lot of ideas because it's really just all leads to one thing, but that'll give you a great idea of what's going on. Is there anything we can do to create support for Doge utility? Just pretty much when we start seeing like campaigns or pushes to get it accepted in certain places, kind of like when Elon made the pitch to like McDonald's and they came out with that, whatever crap coin that they came out with, just when rallying support around that, we have the opportunity and the spotlight on it. That's the best way as far as to get a utility in there, and also supporting current businesses that already accept the coin. So that will certainly help. If Bitcoin is at 100K, where do you think those will be? I don't know. I haven't broken down a formula for that yet because certainly Bitcoin is not going to get to 100K without institutional value. And I can kind of, since we're going to, the next bull run is technically going to be another cycle. So I'll have additional data compared to last year, where I just kind of had to use a lot of current trends for Dogecoin and stuff like that. But when we have this next bull run, I'll have additional data. So I'll be able to better trace it and come up with hopefully some more accurate ranges. But as of right now, I'm not sure of what that ratio would be. Will Doge eventually become like Ethereum and allow people to build on the network? From what I understand, that was supposed to be the purpose of like the bridge, but we'll see. But from what I understood, that was supposed to be the purpose of the bridge, and that would give Doge a bridge work or exposure to like NFTs and stuff like that. That was obviously earlier this year. I haven't heard much talk about it, but that was supposed to be the plan. Let's see. Been watching you for a while. You're probably the best at giving truthful information, and I appreciate that. Keep it up. I appreciate you too. Thank you. Is 10K Bitcoin possible since so many YouTubers are calling it? Well, see, YouTubers, this is one of the reasons I said I was going to, be more transparency with options and making money and stuff like that in different markets, is they're going to call whatever's trending at the time. Just I say maybe like 5-6 months ago, it was $100,000 Bitcoin, and now it's $10,000 Bitcoin. And and we have probably next week we have a couple more green days. It'll be to the moon again. They're going to do whatever is trending at that time, but is 10K Bitcoin a possibility within the realm of historics and correction percentages and stuff like that? It is, but the market tone and stuff like that has to be in alignment for those kinds of sell-offs. Now, could we have just hit the bottom here with all this evidence of reversal and, just kind of like pick off from here and start our trend upward? We could. I do believe we're going to have to retrace some numbers. I do believe we're going to need, further evidence with CPIs and stuff like that. But we are off to a really great start as far as sort of pricing this in as the bottom. But for me, I need additional evidence, but that's just me. But it is possible. That is within the realm of history for Bitcoin to hit those numbers. But I say be really careful when it comes down to just YouTubers, even myself. That's why normally when I share information, I tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying, so that way you can kind of, research it and compare it for yourself. But, for the most part, just kind of be careful with that, because a lot of times you're going to see people quoting and saying what's popular at that time. So just be careful. Said you checked to see if Coinbase wallet was a safe to transfer. Yeah, from what I understand, Coinbase, if I'm not mistaken, Coinbase is non-custodial, and that would be all that's needed to be successful. Yeah, so as long as it's non-custodial and you have your own keys, then you're fine. So I just don't want my coins attached to, and I know technically it's supposed to be like a different section and stuff like that, but personally I just don't want my coins attached to it. That's why I use things like Ledger. But based off of terminology and what the wallet actually is, Coinbase wallet should in fact be safe. I've seen big short margins on my to-do list. Absolutely. If we transfer our coins out from Robinhood to a ledger, does the amount still show in Robinhood? It should not. You said desperate for attention. Yeah, once you make a transfer, then technically you've moved them. So it's kind of like, that would be kind of like having your bank account balance showing in two places. Once you move them, they're moved. What's the lowest Doge can go before everything recovers? The floor, technically chart-wise, was around 6 cents. We got some flash crashes below, but I was saying that if we were to go even lower, we would need a breakdown in the macros. And as of right now, everything is looking good. So we may be at that bottom. What's your thoughts on Zoom stock for this week? Matter of fact, I'll switch over here because I don't. Let me switch my overlay really quickly. And I'll take a look at Zoom. Okay. Communication. I have to look, but this is not, even in the short term, well, even in the long term, this is not good as far as for this trend here. It's been this 21-day has been killing it. But if I log in here, let's see, we get up to 72. Six, 100. So if this swing pattern that it's currently on, it actually should come back down to, if this continues, it actually should come back down to around $100 if this continues. So I'm not sure if you're looking to get in on it, but based off of this pattern I'm seeing here, it should kind of actually dip below the 21 and the 50 day and do the swing back up, unless it has a catalyst or something to kind of, push it back up. But I've seen two tests here at around 122, and maybe the market being green, maybe we can go up and get a third test. But based off of the swings that I'm seeing here, it actually should dip back down to around 102 to $100, in my opinion, for this week. So hope that helps. Finally profitable again with AMC. Can't wait to be profitable with Dogecoin again. Makes you feel so much confident in investments. Both I'm holding for higher gains though. Absolutely, I understand. Do you think this is the end of the tornado cash? It looks like it. I'm looking for further evidence, but this is. We'll see. Because I would like to just base it completely off of CPI numbers, because I know that it's more to it than that. But it's not a bad start. I'll say that. It is not a bad start. You think BTC is still heading to 11K? I'm hearing we're moving up from here. 18K was more at the bottom. That's possible. But we're looking at, so what we're looking at now is price movement in assets like Bitcoin. So when we start seeing this bullish movement and these market swings, we start seeing like these recoveries here by Apple, Microsoft, and stuff like that. That's going to be your evidence that institutional money, whales, and stuff like that are being involved. Right now, this could very well just be retailers causing these green spikes. That doesn't mean anything, because retailers do not have $3.3 trillion to pump to even get crypto back to where it was, let alone to an all-time high. So that's not happening without institutional involvement. So that's why I say that's the evidence of reversal I'm looking for. So that's what I'm looking at. Bitcoin is going to be around like 28,000. So we start getting around 28,000 and stuff like that. Institutions, that's some evidence here as far as market cap and stuff that we're again. Doge may have less volatility in the future as a currency. Absolutely. I have some calls expiring on the 12th. Do you think it would be better to sell and possibly buy with a later expiration, or roll the option? Well, I guess, technically that's, rolling is a form of, basically you're selling and just using the difference. You have your fee and stuff in there, and you're basically just selling your current play for one that's similar in the future. So I guess it just depends on, how quickly you're looking to get back in and stuff like that. But, both of them are, options. It's not, because technically that's what rolling is anyway. So if you're looking to get back in the market relatively sooner, you can roll it, or if you want a couple of days, so you may not want to jump in immediately and stuff like that. You want to research Monday or Tuesday and stuff, then of course you can just sell it. But if you're in the money, both of those are options for you. And see, I like it because you can still make transfers instantly. No, I understand. So do you think she will make better returns than Doge in the next bull run, because it does crazy too? I think the next bull run will be very telling for Sheep. Now, is it possible if it has like the right community and momentum and stuff like that? It's certainly possible because of how cheap it is. That's one of the reasons, Doge dominated when that year it came from underneath a penny and soared up, because it's kind of hard for Bitcoin to compete with that percentage wise. Because if Bitcoin is 20,000, from 20 to 40,000, even though that's going to take billions of dollars in capital to get that just 100% increase, you can't compare with a coin going from 0.001 to like 5 cents. Like it's going to blow you out of the water every time. So percentage wise, if it has the right catalyst and the people behind it, sure, it can certainly get a better return. I just don't know long term how that's going to be. I just have to look into the coin overall and see if it's, what utility is looking like, integration and stuff like that. But as far as for pumps, I imagine there's still going to be some pumps on the next bull run for some of these coins. So the opportunity is there for sure. If Doge becomes a currency, is its value pegged to at $1, or can it go higher? Maybe like 10 or even $100 Doge. Its value isn't pegged to the dollar. 10 would be a lot. $100 is probably, you can say probably $100 would be impossible. But unless we're in hyperinflation, then if we're in hyperinflation, if Doge gets to $100, I sell Doge and buy a gun, because we got a lot of other stuff going on just based down on those mathematics. So if I'm not mistaken, $100 Doge is more than the GDP of the entire planet. So I think maybe even a couple times. I think $100 Doge is like the GDP of the entire planet, like 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. So 10, and I believe 10 may be possible. I don't know, but that would take a lot of integration, and it pretty much would have to be almost a currency or something at that point. So it's not pegged to $1, but as of right now, it's mostly supply and demand. Outside of like shorts and BS, but it's not pegged to anything. When it says my ledger Nano can hold over 5,000 coins, does it mean I can't keep more than 5,000 Doge, or is that it's just 5,000 different currencies? Yeah, it's the range of currencies. It's not necessarily, it doesn't have a limit on how many coins you can have. It's more so how many different blockchains you can have on there. So if you have like 50 different excuse me, cryptos, then yeah, you may have to get more ledgers and stuff like that because of the amount of blockchains you're going to be carrying on there. But as far as for a coin limit, there's not a coin limit. It's just the ledger is so a big common misunderstanding. Your coins are not actually going into the ledger or attached to the ledger at all. The ledger is just giving you access to the blockchain. You cannot remove your coins from the blockchain. The ledger just kind of ties them up or puts like a security feature on your coins that are on the blockchain. So even if you lost your ledger, you can technically get another ledger, and as long as you have your key phrases, you can just use a different ledger. So it's not, but you're not sucking your coins off of the blockchain and putting them into your ledger. Let's see. So what are your thoughts on an interview with Mark Cuban talking about Dogecoin having more applications than Crow? I think that people see, even when we see comments and stuff like that, I think people see the potential that comes out with integration of something like a Dogecoin and it being, literally like the people's currency compared to something like that's more of an institutional favorite. And I think that at the price it is, it's comparable enough that anybody can kind of get in and participate. So without using fractionals and stuff like that, because even right now, even though Bitcoin is down, if it weren't for us being able to buy fractions, like 99% of the people wouldn't be able to get in on Bitcoin. It would be literally just an institution's game at this point. So I think the fact that people don't have to, buy fractionals and stuff like that, and they still within the realm of possibility to participate in Dogecoin, and because of that, it doesn't have a market cap. It's not fluctuating wildly, at least supply and demand wildly right now due to its cap. That puts it in a better position for applications and it being less of a risk to use as a currency. Especially as time goes on, we'll start seeing less of these spikes, and they'll kind of mellow out a lot. But when you start saying, okay, we're going to use, Bitcoin is going to have utility, and we're going to, it's like buying a car with Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin appreciates $10,000 the next day. Who's the sucker here? The guy that bought the car with the Bitcoin, so it's just, Dogecoin is not going to have like those kinds of swings. So puts it in a better position for applications and being used as a currency. Is it possible to see $10, even $100 Doge? 10 is more likely, but $100 is, as of right now, is out of the question. And that's not me. That's just mathematics. Any known update on Doge One launch? Not that I know of. Is USD protected by FTC on crypto exchanges? Kind of hard to trade if you can't keep coins on exchanges. From what I understand, most of them are not. I'll have to. You have to kind of look like on each exchange. From what I understand, it's not like a status quo across the board. But from my understanding, most of them are not. And if you read TOS on most of these crypto exchanges, they're pretty much saying, hey, if we get in trouble, we screw up, we go bankrupt, we're taking everything. So that's why I say get yourself something like a ledger. I have a affiliate links in the description for that. A round of applause to David, who stayed genuine and didn't turn into an evil influencer like others. Thank you. I appreciate you. You think we'll have real new all-time highs before? What do you think we'll have new all-time highs before the real recession? It's possible. I have a theory as far as what's going to happen. I don't have enough research on it yet because I know technically we're geared for, technically the next bull run history-wise should be around like 2024. So we could have more of like I don't say like mediocre, but kind of like a slight run or just kind of like the gearing up to the run or even a sideways period. Technically it wouldn't be out of the question even for like the next year, but I don't have enough evidence on that yet. As I do more research, when I have something conclusive that I can prove, I'll of course present it. But I do have a theory for that, and that would make it unlikely, but we should continuously appreciate higher, but it wouldn't be like that explosiveness of like a 2020. But I have to do more research before I can say something like that for certain. Refreshing my. Let's see. Can you put a fractional share onto a cold storage? I imagine so. I don't see why not. So do you think Ethereum could take the #1 spot over Bitcoin? With applications and stuff, it can, especially market cap wise. I'm glad I caught a live David. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. So how do you have a trading account if you cannot leave coins on exchanges? Depositing USD waiting periods can be too long. How do I have a trading account if I can't leave the coins on exchanges? I mean, I don't personally, I don't trade crypto, but if you are going to trade crypto, that's one of the, in my opinion, I say that's one of the only reasons it would kind of justify having coins on an exchange is if you are going to trade it. So if you are trading, then of course you need your coins on the exchanges. My whole thing was, if you don't want your coins lent out for shorting and stuff like that, don't use your exchange account as a wallet. Because if you do, and if you read the TOS, they tell you in very layman's terms that anything on our exchange is still our property and we'll do with it as we please. So that was my whole thing for removing the coins. But if you are trading and stuff like that, then yeah, you need your coins on the exchange. That makes sense. But I was just saying, don't use your coins, don't use your exchange's account as a wallet. Let's see. How's a bull run guaranteed like 2024 where people don't buy crypto anymore? Um, I doubt that. I think that the sentiment and the tone of the market is changing due to a lot of the BS that has been exposed in the market. But I think this is the new direction. I think the Feds, well, I know the Feds are going to come out with some type of like Fed coin or something soon. They've already been pretty much talking about it and announcing their research and stuff into it. I do believe that they're going to try and push for that to be the official currency, digital currency, and stuff like that, which is normal. Most countries want to control their mediums of exchange. So, but I seriously doubt people lose interest in crypto. Crypto has cycles like everything else, and now we have there's a lot of panic and um, fear in the market that caused a lot of things to happen like bankruptcies and these halting of withdrawals and stuff like that. But I don't think people are going to lose interest in crypto. 30K soon. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. See, well, the pressure on Doge and the macros from today to the end of the year, and those who want to lift off will take Doge to 0.20. Um, it depends, like, because outside of like the catalyst, we also have to look at it to make sure to see what kind of shorts and stuff we're dealing with. But yeah, certainly that can be a catalyst here. I think even if we have traders and stuff come in, I don't think 20 is out of the question. I actually think that is a very reasonable jump. So really enjoying the sidewalk videos you post, some great information and strategy while on a relaxing walk. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. Project price in 5 years and 10 years of BTC. BTC, oh, yeah, 5 to 10 years, BTC should be, especially if institutions are looking to just control that and dominate it. BTC should be well into six figures, probably even like half a mil or a mil a coin. At that time, most people will be trading in satoshis. So yeah, definitely at that point, I think that the people who hold Bitcoin for like the next 5 to 10 years will be, unless some new coin comes up and just disrupts the system and money starts to flow out, Bitcoin should be well into six figures, if not seven, over those time frames. It's expected and projected to go into six figures on the next bull run. And that is that's not even hype. That's just simply numbers and charts based off of history. The next bull run, Bitcoin should technically go into six figures. You think Coinbase will go bankrupt? If BlackRock is backing them, I doubt it. And that's what I made the video about BlackRock a few days ago. BlackRock total assets under management is twice the country's GDP. Like BlackRock is literally bigger than our economy. That is a behemoth of financial power. Like BlackRock sits at the pinnacle of like power and money, like worldwide. It's crazy what BlackRock represents. So if they are getting involved in there and going to be shelling out cash and stuff like that, it is highly unlikely that Coinbase will go bankrupt. Ethereum surpassed Bitcoin in price. That would take some interesting change in market cap, sure. Price wise, they would have to literally not even just innovate Bitcoin, but I also think that not Bitcoin, innovate Ethereum. I think that it will also have to be attractive enough to have people selling Bitcoin for Ethereum. So not necessarily saying that Bitcoin is going to be on its own path and just Ethereum just doing better. I think there's actually going to have to create a pull on the Bitcoin price itself in order for that to happen. I guess it's not impossible, but I certainly see it happening market cap wise. But price wise, that'll be a little bit tough. Let's see, David, will this video be uploaded to Patreon? Intro to options video. I missed it. No, yeah. So I did this. I did the intro to options because a lot of people were asking about the gains and the percentages and stuff like that I was posting over the last week. For everybody in Patreon, I'll be doing a series in long on options, and we'll break down Greeks and time frames and stuff like that. We're gonna really just you'll understand options completely. I'm going to do a series on that. I've already written it out and stuff like that. It has like 13 parts, but you're going to understand everything there is to know about options. So that way, when I give you guys my plays for the week, you'll not only know why I chose those plays, but of course you'll be able to execute your own with confidence. So Patreons, I got you. Don't worry. What are your thoughts on BBY chart price possibility? I saw, let's see. I saw it spiking up. Yeah, so it came right up and got rejected off of that 200-day. We never broke above it since March. So I guess the biggest thing now is to see where there's going to be support. Because even now, this is, even here in these price ranges, these are gaps, and it literally did another gap. So chart-wise, this could come down even to the 50-day, like without even hesitation. So literally like a 50% decrease chart-wise. Your best bet was to be in down here, because this would be, yeah. It's literally a rejection off of the 200. This is tough here because you'll see not only did you gap here again, but this price range was notorious here for this gap down. So the question is, where will you find support? Because you've already seen a steady decrease here. So the question is, will this 72 or will the 50-day catch it? Let's see, what was your question? 72 or will the 50-day catch it? What was your question? Let's see, what was your price possibility? I'd say outside of like another pump, which we're not following that closely, I'd say would be unlikely. I'd say you're more than likely looking at a slight further correction to around the 8 range, if not 7, low 7s. And that's being optimistic. So, because technically those gaps get filled unless there's another pump coming, but I don't follow it that closely to look at the mechanics. But just chart-wise, that's what all this is. You're looking at mid 8s to low 7s here, and hopefully you can kind of catch and start your next cycle upward. So hope that makes sense. Bought more Doge after watching that sidewalk video. Yeah, thank you. No, I'm glad you guys appreciate the sidewalk video. Normally when I go walking, I think about different plays and stuff like that. So technically I'll just record something and upload it. So I'm glad you guys appreciate it. Let's see, if you say Bitcoin will be over 6 figures, maybe $1 million in 5 to 10 years, what about Ethereum? I definitely think Ethereum will be well into 5 figures. Depending, because I know they do have some innovations and stuff like that coming out. I'm not ready to say 6-figure Ethereum, but I definitely think that Ethereum will be well into 5 figures. So I definitely think, even regardless of these prices here, the fluctuations and people complaining, I think that these are all great opportunities. Um, let's see what comes with your Patreon. Also, where's the link? I don't advertise it much because I'm building a lot of stuff into it, and I try to be really attentive. But I'll post it here. I believe there's like 13 spots left because I closed it so that I can control how many people are actually in the group. So Danielle, I just posted it in the chat. That is the link, and it also gives you like a breakdown of what you get and stuff like that as well. They're just pumping as we speak. P.S. Hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate it. They're just taking off. Good deal. Doge wants 0.08 so bad right now. Let's take a look at Doge. Crypto. Okay, let's see. We got some decent bounces here off of the 21. Several. Okay. Let's see what the big bad shorts are up to. Yeah, they've been bouncing off of the 21, but they've consolidated quite a bit. Definitely was a head and shoulder pattern like we talked about last week, but they consolidated and bounced off of they're using the 21 as support now. But yeah, they definitely consolidated some back into the fives now. To the moon. Let's see. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're a great asset for all of us. We are your parents or grandparents, teachers. Or we're your parents or grandparents, teachers. No, I just took a liking to like this explaining information. I make sure that even when I like pretty much how I learn is I have to understand something very thoroughly and even from like multiple different aspects. So when I talk about something, typically it makes it easier to relay information on certain topics and stuff just because of how thoroughly I'll research something to understand it. So it'll make it easier to relay that information. So even when it comes down to figuring out something or learning how something works, I like depth. So I don't really like to like a Google answer or Wikipedia answer or something like that is not enough for me. I need to, it's kind of like using a word. It's like, oh, what does this word mean? Okay, so I need to know what it means, use it in a sentence. You know, does context change the meaning of the word? Like I'm that guy. So it makes it really easier. Let's say, yeah, makes it really easy to relay information to you guys and to put out my reports, record videos and stuff like that. So, but thank you. I gotta go, David. Much love. Thank you for all your info. Peace. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. I appreciate you tuning in with me. So Will Doge hit an all-time high this year. We're gonna have to monitor those the reversal numbers and the CPI numbers to kind of see, but technically trend-wise, we're off track as far as for the next bull run. But that doesn't mean that we can't have another run because we've seen crazier things over the last couple of years, including the shortest bear market in history. So crazier things have happened. So we can certainly see another spike here. Let's see. What do you think about Ethereum Classic? Since you won't be able to mine Ethereum, almost 200, I believe. So yeah, I think that Ethereum Classic, because I know some people hold Ethereum and they've been really disappointed or running out of patience with the price action. I think Ethereum Classic is a sleeper. And once we have a lot of the price action movement on Ethereum, I think that people will lean toward classic to get exposure. And I think that that's when you're going to see a lot of that momentum and growth in there. So I think for people that are in that position, that they have patience, I think that they'll realize some gains here in the future. I think I answered your question. What was your 2025 and 2030 price prediction for Dogecoin? Wow, that's like a decade out. So I think that by then we'll have mass utility, and we'll more than likely have not consolidated, but we'll have more stable price action, and Doge will be multiple folds of where it is now. I'd say multiple dollars at that point, just based off of how much utility and stuff. But as far as for like an actual number, I don't want to just throw things out there, but I think that price wise and utility, we would have had more than enough application to put a strain on the supply and realize some sharp spikes. And it should be well before then as well. So, but but by then I think Dogecoin, the crypto market in general, will have consolidated, and Doge will be a major player in that arena. Okay, this guy here, to my Karen or whatever, I've seen your comment like 3 times, talk about Karen is legit or whatever. I'm gonna block you now. Okay. So I've been on about an hour. So I hope that answers a lot of you guys' questions when it comes down to the state of the market, kind of like where I'm sitting at now, the evidence that I'm looking for, the intro to options, which I started this video with. So if you missed that portion, you can watch the beginning of this video. If you want to do the option plays with myself and the community, I do have a Patreon. I think there's like 13 more spots in there. I may open it up again at some point. I just like to, because I like to be attentive. I don't want to be overwhelmed. And I also don't want Patreon to become a job. So that's why I keep it small, and I turn it off, and then I'll turn it on and stuff like that. So I'm not being funny. I just don't want to create more work because I prefer to make my money actually in the market and doing stuff instead of Patreon and making videos and stuff like that. So, and that's another thing too. I know some of you guys have been like, oh, you missed some days making videos and stuff like that. I know, and that's why I was posting like the options and stuff like that, because when I start seeing breaks in the market, those are opportunities to make money. And so I prefer to make money actually in the markets versus, putting out like 10 videos a day and stuff like that. So that's why if you see that and I start posting links, I'm telling you what I'm doing, but I may not get to do a video that day. So I hope you guys understand that. Let's see. Mike with the super chat. I appreciate you. I'm still poor, but I have been learning with every video you post. When my train comes in someday, I will send a higher super chat. Thanks again, sir. No, I appreciate you. And I'm glad you are learning. We are all learning together. I don't have all the answers. So I'll never have all the answers. So I will, continue learning right along with you guys, and we will grow together. So I appreciate you for tuning in and even appreciating my videos. Thank you. 64 likes. Okay, almost at 69. Just added myself to your Patreon. You're down to 12 spots now. Thanks. All right, thank you, Jose. I appreciate you. I'll send you a link to the Discord and get you caught up to speed. All right, so I appreciate all of you guys. I will see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to post one more short tonight. If not, it'll be in the morning. And other than that, I will speak with all of you tomorrow. Thank you and have a great night.